So I am an optimizer. I've been optimizing websites for many, many years, running all kinds of tests, improving conversions and revenue and all that good stuff. And I'm also optimizing life. 3 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And a year later, she passed away. And it completely broke my heart. I have 2 small kids, Hayden and Amelia. And they won't really remember her, which breaks my heart even more. And then I told myself that I want to see my grandchildren grow up, maybe even my great-grandchildren. So how do I do that? How can I live a long life to make sure that that happens? And I started to look into this, longevity. And what I learned was that there's about 70 to 80% chance that you'll die of one of 4 diseases: cancer, heart disease, stroke, or a neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's. But the prevention for all 4 is essentially the same. So basically, don't eat sugar or minimize sugar and refined carbs. Eat lots of vegetables and fatty fish. Don't be overweight, the enabler of all diseases in life. And exercise 3-4 hours a week, especially do like high intensity exercises like MMA, kickboxing, running sprints, stuff like that. And it's also not just about increasing the lifespan, but also the health span, meaning how to be as strong and able as long as possible. And the secret to that is lift heavy weights. After the age of 45, we start rapidly losing muscle mass, our bones get weaker, and the cure for that is just doing a lot of squats and all kinds of other powerman stuff. So lift heavy weights. But why am I talking about this stuff? Well, because this is optimization. You have a goal, whether to live a long life or to increase conversion rates. Then you do research. What needs to be done to get there, to achieve the goal? Then you need to take action, and sometimes you don't know what the right course of action is, and hence you need to run experiments. And hopefully you get to the desired outcome. There's one problem with this. We human beings, we're fucking lazy. We don't want to do any of this stuff. I mean, before, like 3 years ago, I was overweight. I hadn't exercised for 10 years. I wasn't doing any of this shit. We are fucking lazy. And because we are lazy, there's a market for app stimulators. We want to do none of the work, but get all the results. And look at this picture. I took this picture off of an e-commerce website selling app stimulators. And look at the model. He's not actually wearing it. They photoshopped it onto the dude. Talk about lazy. So yeah, we want the diet pill. We want the diet pill, just eat all the cakes we want and look fabulous. Like the biggest business that hasn't been invented yet, bigger than flying cars, will be somebody that is going to invent pastry products that are as healthy as broccoli. I mean, like, eat your veggies. Yeah, no parent will have trouble with that. So, again, but this diet pill stuff is actually optimization because we want the maximum results with minimal effort, right? We don't want to do the work. We want just the results. I've always been an optimizer. I just didn't know that. In my high school years and in my college years, I was also optimizing, but I was optimizing for drinking. This is me at some college party with my cousin. And how do you optimize for drinking? You want to be the best drunk. Well, it's easy, right? You drink the most. Very, very, very simple. So there's no magic to how to optimize for being the best drunk. And then there are other things that are harder to optimize for. I was also optimizing for meeting girls, relationships, and that's far more complicated than just being a drunk. There was a story where this girl dumped me. And I was a little drunk and went over to her house and stood beneath her window. And I was like, Katrin, Katrin! Which was a little awkward because her name was Helen. Anyways, so fast forward to 2011. It was a massive year. The Arab Spring started. They killed Osama bin Laden. And I started Conversion Excel. And I thought I was the shit. I had been doing online marketing for years. Not that much CRO, but I thought I knew a whole lot about CRO. And I had this idea. That there is one magic formula for high converting websites. There is this one formula for the perfect homepage, the perfect landing page, perfect whatever page. Have you heard about the Dunning-Kruger effect? Which is basically you're so incompetent that you can't tell that you're incompetent and you think you're highly competent. So you think you're the shit, but actually you're just shit. So this was me climbing this Mount Stupid, finding that perfect formula for a perfect page. But I mean, if you're a marketing consultant, and I was one, your life is easy. You go to some company, make a big presentation, get the money and fuck off, right? But in optimization, it's rather complicated because you can make a fine presentation, but then you need to test your shit, whether it actually works. So me chasing my perfect formula for perfect homepages, I mean, nothing shatters your illusions faster than testing your ideas. And of course, my ideas were bullshit. It didn't work. Your ideas, they're like your children. You love them dearly. But to other people, they can be rather fucking annoying. And so we are terrible at ideation. We are terrible at coming up with ideas. Or we're not terrible at ideation maybe, but we have a terrible intuition about what works. Like if we had to predict what will work on a website to achieve a lift or get more revenue, I mean, even the best in business get it right maybe 50% of the time. Usually more like 10% of the time. So we can't guess and predict what will work. Well, so how can we figure out what will work? Well, maybe we can look to companies that are doing really fucking well and copy those guys. Like for instance, Amazon, they're doing pretty fine, right? Could we just copy Amazon and get Amazon-style results? Maybe. The conversion rate for Amazon Prime subscribers is 74%. That's e-commerce conversion rate, 74%. What's your conversion rate? Maybe 5%? So that's 15 times difference, right? So now the question is the design of Amazon 15 times better than your design? Or is the copy on the Amazon websites 15 times better than your copy? No. So like by copying superficial elements of a successful website and expecting to get the results is naive. The world doesn't work like that. And don't copy your competitors either because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They copied their stuff from somebody else who copied from somebody else. It's blind leading the blind. And even if you figure out a tactic that really fucking works, there's this problem that if something works really well, everybody starts doing it, and the effectiveness of that tactic will go down. Tactic fatigue. Think about Popups. When Popups became popular again around 2011, this is A/B tests I ran on the Conversion Excel blog. I got like close to 20% opt-in rates on email pop-ups. Today, I mean, if you get more than 1%, you're doing fine. That's tactic decay for you. Or push notifications on desktop. When these guys came out, I got like 35% click-through on my push notifications. But already 6 months later, it was like 3%. Like the effectiveness went down so fast. So when others zig, you need to zag and so on. So there is no tactic that will always work. So then what are we to do? How can we figure out how to optimize a website with minimal effort and get maximum results? Well, the only reliable way that I know is doing conversion research. Conversion research is a research Excel framework that thousands of companies are using around the world to get reliably good test results. But I'm not going to get into this model. Like you can Google it. There's a blog post about it. But there's a problem with this framework or conversion research in general. The problem is that it's really fucking hard work. It takes weeks to conduct research. You need to have high skills. You need to be good at digital analytics. You need to be good at qualitative research, and so on and so forth. So we don't want to do the hard work. We want the diet pill. We want the diet pill. And then I was thinking to myself, so how, maybe there isn't a perfect homepage formula, but maybe there are still some repeatable patterns, things that tend to work more often than not, or like almost always. And I started to think, wait a minute, there are a couple of A/B tests that I run, and they almost always work. Like sliders. Just remove the slider that every 3 seconds something changes on the website. Remove that, replace with a static image, booyah, it works. Or have a fucking value proposition on your website. You don't have one, you add one, it works, right? So here's the test. This Iron Mountain, this big, massive enterprise, they had this big slider on the homepage, no consistent value proposition, bunch of sliders. We changed it, had a statement what the company does, put a static image there, booyah, 18% more leads. For a Fortune 500 company, that's a lot of money. And then I started to talk to my friend Jakub Linovsky, who started this website called Good UI Fast Forward. It's a collection of A/B tests that everybody can contribute, post their A/B test results, and then we see which tests are working for other people. And I'm like, when I saw that website, I started asking myself, hey, what about repeatable patterns that we have discovered? Because at CXL we have a conversion agency. We've been doing this stuff for years. So I started to talk to people in my company. It's like, hey, let's start analyzing which tests tend to work really, really well. And we dug through our own history. We looked at Iridian, the archives, and so on and so forth. And what do you know? I found repeatable patterns. And here they are. So this is something we call the benefits bar. So it's an e-commerce site. We put 4 benefits there. Why buy from this site? The free shipping, official retailer, I don't know, Australians hear about this stuff, free samples, and so on. Worked really well. And then on the mobile website, underneath them, just below the fold, we had added these quick links. Quick links that people can click on and go somewhere. Again, worked really, really well. Wizards. So instead of having one long-ass form, split it into multiple steps. Have a wizard. So we tested this on ADP. It's a massive payroll company in the United States, where we took this big-ass form and basically split it into 3 steps. Are you a current customer, blah, 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 what's your zip code, how many employees, and so on and so forth. 58% more leads. I mean, this test alone saved the fucking company from bankruptcy, because the startups are eating them up. What else? Pop-ups, they still work on e-commerce. Entry pop-ups, hey, you get 15% off of your first purchase, or 10% off your first purchase. Or exit pop-ups, don't go, here's $5. Really works really well. Or in e-commerce, this is selling dog food. So we added these things that, hey, buy before 4 p.m., and we ship it out now. And again, massive results, 27% more money. Or if you want people to buy something that costs $699, which seems expensive, you put another offering there, which is way more expensive, and now $699 seems pretty cheap. And price anchoring also works really well. In e-commerce, if we want people to get on a subscription product, get on a subscription. So this is selling deodorants, $12, and we added hey, but you can get it for $10 if you subscribe, and every 3 months we'll send you new deodorant. And the outcome was that once we launched this test, or implemented this, 6 months later, this company was acquired by Procter & Gamble. Again, tremendous results. So, is it that we can just skip research and if we only know the repeatable patterns and get maximum results with minimal effort? Hell no! It doesn't work like that. So, as soon as we found these repeatable patterns based on our own experience, we started to run these tests more and more on more websites. And they stopped fucking working. So, for instance, in this case, when it's hey, buy dog food, before 4 p.m. and then you get it soon. It worked really well for this case, for instance. And why? Why was it? It's because when people are ordering dog food online, their dog is fucking hungry, like, eh, and I have no dog food. I love my dog, so I'm going to order, now so I can get the food now. I don't love the dog as much enough to go to the supermarket, still need to order online. But when we tested similar things on like e-cigarette sites and so on, it didn't work. The urgency of getting it now wasn't just there contextually. Or these benefit bar things. When we rolled it out on more websites, it stopped working because people didn't give a fuck about these benefits. But why did it work here? It's because when we did qualitative research and asked the customers, why are you buying from this site? These 4 reasons here were the top 4 reasons that people themselves told us that this is why I buy from this site. So again, you need to do research to figure out what are the benefits they actually care about. And also copywriting matters. Like you can have just short labels on the benefits, or you can have really long benefits. You need to, even if you know what the benefit is that they care about, you don't know how to phrase it properly. And this ADP test, the 3-step wizard, why did it work here? Or how did we come up with this test? It's like we looked at form analytics and we saw where were the drop-off points in that big-ass form. And where the 2 biggest drop-off points were, that's where we decided to split it up. After the first field, there's a massive drop-off. Okay, so first field and then next step. Where's the next big drop-off? Here. That's step number 3. Again, research. These quick links. How did we come up with these quick links? Because again, if we just copied these links onto other mobile sites, they didn't work. But we came up with these links by, again, looking at digital analytics. And we looked at what kind of sort order people used. Like they go to the category page and they sorted products by price, by whatever. And then we created quick links because people already were doing that. So understanding that this is still research is required, and they don't work always. Like I went back to my friend Jakub Linovski's site, that Good UI site. It's like, okay, let me see what kind of repeatable patterns does he have. And then I looked at the top 2 repeatable patterns. Number 1 was, don't have a coupon code field in the credit card page. Okay, well, that's a no-brainer. Or have less form fields. This is not a repeatable pattern. This is a best practice. I made, in the Urban Dictionary, I made my first entry. Best practice is, you're an idiot if you're not doing at least this. So I wouldn't call it a repeatable pattern. This is a no-brainer, right? So essentially, my conclusion is the only repeatable pattern in conversion optimization is still doing conversion research. There's no way around it. So 2 things that I want you to remember. Websites are highly contextual. So what works for one website does not work for another website. And lift heavy weights to live a strong, able life. Thank you.